Part 20. The tug-of-war between the war god and the tortoise. Zeno's time trap. The centuries-long tortoise and hare race between Achilles and the tortoise finally begins by the sea in 400 BC. The tortoise is at point A, 100 meters ahead of Achilles, and the time is recorded as 0. Achilles is pumping his long legs to catch up, and by all common sense and everyone's eyes, he should leave the tortoise far behind in a matter of seconds. But Zeno, the contrarian master, declares, "Wait a minute, you're thinking too simply." Zeno thinks this way. Round 1, Achilles must spend time t1 to run to the tortoise's initial position at point A, but during this same time t1, the tortoise, never idle, has moved to a new position, point B. Round 2, Achilles must then spend time t2 to run to point B. During this same time t2, the tortoise has crawled forward again to point C. Infinite rounds, and so on. Every time, Achilles must first reach the location of the tortoise's previous footprint, and during that pursuit, the tortoise always manages to move a tiny, non-zero distance forward. Conclusion? Achilles can only infinitely approach the tortoise, but can never catch up. The war god is left desperately anxious behind, becoming a time perpetuum mobile, chasing a tortoise endlessly. Zeno, of course, knew in his heart that Achilles would quickly overtake the tortoise. His goal was not for you to answer because Achilles runs fast, but to force you to prove why you believe he can catch up. If you only use speed difference as an excuse, you fall right into his logical trap, because he has already used an infinite number of non-zero time segments to prove that the tortoise cannot be caught. Where is the true flaw? Our friend Zeno brutally sliced the continuous nature of time into an infinite number of discrete time segments, t1, t2, t3, and so on. Every time, Achilles must first reach the location of the tortoise's previous footprint, and during that pursuit, the tortoise always manages to move a tiny, non-zero distance forward. Conclusion: Achilles can only infinitely approach the tortoise, but can only spend a finite amount of time. Within this finite amount of time, he not only covers the tortoise's 100-meter head start, but also easily surpasses the distance the tortoise crawls during the same period. Zeno's error lies in confusing infinite terms with infinite magnitude. The sum of an infinitely decreasing series is often a finite number. My dear master, you were only a few thousand years away from the course called calculus. Although Zeno's propositions are not strictly paradoxes because they can be falsified, his sophistry successfully inspired later generations. Zeno's arrow paradox and tortoise chase revealed the logical incompleteness or flaws in our cognitive system. For instance, the famous liar paradox. A Cretan says, all Cretans are liars. If he is telling the truth, then all Cretans, including himself, are liars, meaning he is lying, to contradiction. If he is lying, then at least some Cretans are truth-tellers, meaning his statement, all Cretans are liars, is false, which means he is lying, to contradiction. Conclusion: his statement leads to a logical contradiction regardless of whether it is true or false. This ancient paradox, said to originate around 500 BC, spread so widely that even the Apostle Paul, 500 years later, believed it, and in his letter to his disciple Titus, he sharply rebuked the Cretans for their evil habit of lying. It seems the power of philosophy is more effective than moral preaching. However, the real logical earthquake occurred in 1903, just as the German mathematician Gottlob Frege thought his mathematical set theory could construct a self-consistent or self-proving mathematical edifice, he received a letter from the British philosopher Russell Brand. The letter contained one simple sentence that instantly shook the foundations of Frege's structure. This sentence led to the famous Russell's paradox, which, when expressed in everyday language, is, a barber says he shaves and only shaves those who do not shave themselves. The question is, who shaves the barber? If he shaves himself, he belongs to the self-shavers, which, by his rule, he cannot shave himself. If he does not shave himself, he belongs to the non-shavers, which by his rule he must shave himself. Conclusion: the barber is trapped in an eternal logical dilemma of to shave or not to shave, where any action is wrong. This paradox triggered the third crisis in mathematics, challenging the self-consistency of modern set theory. Ultimately, it was not until 1931 that the German mathematician Gottlob Gödel achieved a compromise resolution by proving that any formal system must inherently contain elements or propositions that can neither be proven true nor be proven false. This amounts to an admission that the human cognitive system has insurmountable limitations when facing the mysteries of nature. For now, though, let us return to the seaside of 400 BC and continue to look for those shells that shine with the light of logic.